Are you curious what's happening in the Stockton housing market? Stay tuned, we're going over that on today's Did You Know Show.
All right, we're starting off this housing market update for the city of Stockton specifically, and the first chart we have on the screen is going to show you the number of homes that were for sale, how many went pending, and then finally how many sold. And I love just starting with this chart because it really gives us a gauge of what's going on in the market. This is a hot market, cold market. So let's get into it. As you can see, the light green bar here on the screen represents the number of homes for sale. Last month, there were 259 homes on the market in Stockton. And as you can see, it kind of leveled out. 2 previous months were 262, 263, so we're getting some consistency there. However, if you look at the red line going across the screen there, that represents the number of pending sales that were here in Stockton. And over the last 3 months, really 4 months, those have increased every single month. Specifically last month, there were 231 pending sales. The previous month before that was 183 pending sales. So that represents a 26% increase in pending sales. And I like to look at the pending numbers because that represents the buyers out there looking in the market. So we're seeing a lot more buyer activity. Even though rates have climbed back up higher, we're still seeing good demand from buyers in this market. And lastly, those pendings do turn into sales ultimately. And so we saw an increase in the solds from 134 to last month, 169 sales. So that's a good indication that there's definitely more activity happening. Not so much on the listing aspect of new homes coming on the market, but there's definitely buyer activity. Let's take a look at our next chart. Let's look at the days on market chart to get an indication of how fast homes are selling.
All right, so on the screen here, we have a chart for you showing the average days on market, how quickly things were taking to sell in the city of Stockton most recently. And it was 40 days was the average, which was a little bit of a dip from the month before, a 9% change. And interestingly, they're selling about 26% faster than they were compared to last year at this time. So another question that may be on your mind, are homes selling for full price? Are they getting what they're asking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. One that we get quite often from helping people sell their homes. And we answer that question by looking at the red line going across the top here on this chart. And this represents the average list to sales price ratio. If a home is listed for $400,000, on average last month, they were getting 98% of that number. Pretty close to the asking price. It seems like there's a little bit of give in the market, although recently, just looking at MLS data, we're starting to see multiple offers again on homes that are priced well, that show well. So it really all depends, but that's the short answer to that question. Yes, it's right around the asking price.
All right, we have another chart for you guys here. This is the average sold price in the city of Stockton. So most recently, that price was $478,000, which was a bit of an uptick from the month prior. And if you look at the green line above that, that is the average price for sale. So when a house is listed on the market, the average sales price. So it kind of makes sense that you see an upward trend in both those lines, both red and green.
Yeah, what's interesting here is last month was $478,000, as you mentioned, but 1 year ago, the average price was $466,000 here in Stockton. So a bit of an increase. As you can see from the chart, we've just kind of been rolling along in prices, some months higher, some months lower. And given the higher interest rate environment that we're currently in, it's not a bad thing. You know, prices are still trending up. And I'm going to show you the reason why prices will probably continue to trend up right on our next chart. Okay, here we have our months of inventory chart. And when you hear people talk about supply and demand of the housing market, this is kind of what I look at to gauge the supply and demand of the market. Last month was 1.1 months of housing inventory on the market. The number of homes for sale, if another home wasn't placed on the market, they would all sell in 1.1 months, which is extremely low, extremely fast. And typically to have a balanced market, we should be right around 3%. So anytime you have less of something for sale, it could cause home prices to rise. And right now we have less homes for sale. So my thought would be prices are going to slowly continue to rise as long as we stay in this low level of homes for sale.
Yeah, and I want to touch on something that you mentioned a little bit earlier in the video was that, again, according to these low inventory numbers, that creates a seller favorable market.
Yeah.
And again, that's evident by seeing when you have a house that's priced, accurately and shows well, you are seeing multiple offer scenarios. So that's what we're seeing here in our local market in Stockton.
Yeah, and many people think, even though it is a seller favored market, we still need to present the home in the best possible manner. You want to do some things prior to putting it on the market. That's evident. Most people know that. You want to market it properly, and if you do those things, you'll have great success. If you avoid and don't do a lot of those things, the home could sit on the market longer. We've seen that quite a lot, where homes will sit and people wonder why. Well, they didn't take the time to either declutter or make some repairs or market it properly. So who you work with matters in this market more than ever before. But we want to thank you for watching today's video. Any last words?
No, you went over it quite well. If you guys want to talk about strategy or have any questions about preparing your house for sale or anything real estate related, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to talk with you.
And if you made it this far in the video, we applaud you. Give us a thumbs up right down below if you're on YouTube, or actually you can thank us right in Facebook and Instagram as well. How many times am I going to say that in a row? But thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.